Vanessa Fabbre, and I'm here with Cheri Rodman, who is the chair of Illinois Gender Advocates and one of the overseers for the BL conference this year. So Cheri, if you could share with us what it takes to organize the conference and maybe just a little bit about the history and where we are with the conference this year.
Okay. Well, obviously, we are in IGA. We are here as participants in the BL conference. While we do not take part in the overall putting together of BL, which is a tremendous activity. We do have a number of activities that we're doing here. IGA, we are doing here at the BL. We are doing these videotape interviews. We are doing a little bit broader videotape seminars. And of course we have our table in the vendor area where we are talking to participants of BL about IGA, and to be honest with you, soliciting some new memberships and interest in IGA. IGA is a gender organization with a very nice long history, and that we're quite proud of. It has made major impact in the state. As in its original formation, it's called It's Time Illinois, and had major impact in helping get laws passed in Springfield that have well served the whole state, not just the gender community. And so we're quite proud of IGA's past, and we are very much looking forward to IGA's future of being the gender organization in the state of Illinois.
So Cheri, could you tell us a little bit about the history of Illinois Gender Advocates, how long the group has been in existence, and a little more about the mission, the purpose of the organization?
Illinois Gender Advocates has been around for about 15 years or so. Originally was founded as It's Time Illinois, and in the process of pursuing gender laws within the state of Illinois that would in helping get those laws passed. It was a fairly activist organization. It continues to be well received by the elected representatives of the state of Illinois in presenting the gender issues for the state. And Illinois is fairly progressive in its role in these issues. In many respects, is a model for other states and nationwide as to what can be and should be done to help and protect the gender community. And we're quite proud of what we have done.
And so from the perspective of Illinois Gender Advocates, what does the BL conference mean to you? What is really kind of a take-home message or something that is really valuable right here and right now?
Well, what BL is important to us because it gives us a chance to speak to girls coming from all across the country. Gives us a chance once again to present Illinois Gender Advocates to the country, and of course maybe we can pick up a few new members. We never turn down new members. We have a number of things that we want to do for the community, and the more people that we have available to do that, the more we can get done.
Well, thank you for being with us here today. I hope you have a wonderful conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure.
Hi, I'm here with Dr. Kerri Rodman, faculty member at the Chicago School of Professional Psychology. So Dr. Ronne, could you share with us how you came to be at the conference today and how that fits in with your career at this point?
Sure. I've attended BL for many years. I'm a researcher, and I come here and gather information, gather data that ends up turning into presentations and publications to the professional community. And I also have given many talks here over the years on a variety of topics of interest to transgender populations. My work in the transgender community actually started many, many years ago, and not in Chicago, but in Iowa City. I was working, finishing my dissertation and working at the psychiatric hospital just to earn a living while I was finishing up graduate school, and was contacted by a psychiatric resident who said, "Boy, we have someone here on the unit we have no clue what to do with." And I went down and met with this person who was a biological male, who was wanting to transition, had sort of attempted surgery on themselves in a very tragic kind of situation. And the psychiatrists there, this was 20 years ago, were completely perplexed. And when they'd said, "Oh, don't worry, we can fix this up," the patient had said, "I don't want it fixed, I want it off, that's why this happened." And they said, "So we're actually considering doing surgery. We have someone here who's assisted with the surgeries, who's volunteering to provide services under the mentorship of an expert, and we want you to see this person for therapy for 3 weeks, and then we're going to do the surgery." So I scrambled to try to find out any kind of information about this. I knew there was very, very little out there. Found Richard Doctor's wonderful books, which was one of the first scholarly works back in the 80s, and just did the best I could. This poor client taught me a great deal in those few weeks, and went on to have surgery and be very successful, and it went very well, so that started my interest. And since then, a number of people with gender issues have come my way, and then just maybe 7 or 8 years ago, I was teaching at the Chicago School, and we had a group doing outreach. Some of you may know Diane Bolden, but she came with a group of other people to do outreach, and she, in another life, is a professor at another school, and we kind of connected and became friends, and started doing some research together, and started giving some presentations, and pretty soon people started calling me and asking me if I would see clients with gender issues, and it just kind of slowly grew until now I have a small private practice that specializes mainly in working with people with gender issues and their spouses and family members, and do research, and developed a course and teach classes and speak, and here we are.
So what would you say you've learned the most from being part of the transgender community now for so long?
Oh gosh, there's so many things. That's hard to know where to start. I think the biggest thing is to be open to what the client tells you, that a lot of presuppositions or ideas about what gender issues are like are wrong or may not fit that particular person or their family or their situation, and that you have to be open to understanding what their situation is, and that although there's commonalities, everybody has their own story, and they can be very different, and their needs can be very different at different times in their life. Sometimes viewing the clients as individuals is a bit of a struggle, because right now we're dealing with a new version of the DSM, which is the manual that psychologists use for diagnosis. We have to use it in order to get reimbursed by insurance, so to some extent we have to live within those guidelines, but that sort of labeling and categorizing is almost the opposite of, I think, what you do as a therapist, and that can be a struggle. Just this morning I was talking with Molly Thomas, my co-presenter, about issues with the DSM. The DSM has gone through many transitions of its own over the years, and in particular diagnostic categories for gender issues have changed dramatically from back in the days when Freud ruled supreme through behaviorism and through today. And right now that's being reviewed and updated again, and it's raised a lot of controversy about those categories related to whether it should be considered a sexual disorder, an identity disorder, and there's been a lot of confusion and questions about that.
Well, I'm sure it's very helpful for our conference attendees to have a presentation on this issue, given that there's such a debate right now about this issue. So thank you very much for giving us an overview. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.